Ever finish using an app or an AI and just feel completely drained? Like the task is quote unquote done, but your brain is totally fried. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a fascinating experiment from our source data that takes that invisible frustration of bad digital design and turns it into hard, measurable numbers. We're going to look at a brilliant framework that actually quantifies that exact feeling. Let's get right into it.
Here is our system diagnostic for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. The currency of attention. 2. The bit calculator. 3. Tokens versus brain drain. 4. The developer disconnect. And 5. The ultimate AI test.
Part 1, the currency of attention. Let's talk about our mental limits.
We kind of like to think our focus is this endless reservoir, right? But the science, specifically Claude Shannon's information theory applied to neuroscience, paints a totally different picture. Our conscious mind, it can really only process about 20 bits of information per second. Seriously, just 20. Your subconscious is doing all the heavy lifting, processing millions of bits just to keep your body functioning. But that spotlight of conscious attention is incredibly narrow.
So what exactly is a bit in this context? Well, think of it as a measurable unit of mental energy. It's the attention you consume processing choices, information, or frustrations. Every single micro decision you make, every notification you have to swipe away, every clunky interface, it's actively draining those precious 20 bits a second. And the sources reveal something wild. When you get frustrated by bad design, your brain literally acts like an overheating engine. You consume way more bandwidth just trying to process that anger and confusion. Moving on to part 2, the bits calculator. How do we actually visualize this mental waste? To really see this waste in action, a theoretical bit calculator was developed within the source experiments to track the exact mental cost of a digital interaction. Picture a really sleek, modern dark mode interface with a deep violet-black background. At the top, there's this vibrant neon planetary color gradient bar stretching from red and yellow to cyan and deep purple, tracking your overall cognitive load. Below that, you've got these interactive horizontal timelines made of rounded vertical blocks. When things go smoothly, like requesting a ride or checking a price, you get these solid, full-height vertical blocks glowing freely in vibrant neon colors with a cool drop shadow. But the second you hit a snag, the timeline dynamically shifts, minor errors drop down into medium-height swing blocks with dashed outlines. And if you hit a truly confusing confirmation page, bam, it instantly turns into a short, hatched, energy-draining, busy roadblock. You literally watch your cognitive load spike. And this perfectly captures what happens when things just go completely off the rails. The source data documents a real-world test where a user just wanted to run a basic script to sync Spotify to Deezer using Gemini. What should have been, an easy 2 to 3 message interaction, it turned into an actual 19-message nightmare. The AI offloaded the task back to the user 8 times. It made 3 false promises and threw in 14 format violations. That is not just a waste of time, that is a massive, quantifiable theft of your conscious bits. Which brings us to part 3, tokens versus brain drain, the AI cost versus the human cost. We're dealing with a fundamental mismatch in metrics here. AI companies measure, optimize, and charge you based on tokens, which are roughly equivalent to words or fragments, shown here as amber text. It's just raw computer output. But us humans, we measure in bits, highlighted in cyan. So while the AI is hackily spitting out tokens, we're the ones paying the price in bits. We're spending our highly limited mental energy decoding all this fluff, navigating hard-coded safety lectures, or just trying to figure out if the AI is confidently lying to us.
The source material actually hits the nail on the head with this quote. The output is fluent and confident, but it's just confident noise. The core issue identified here is that AI is fundamentally trained to be helpful, coherent, and conversational. But that optimization often pushes it to just fabricate facts. The sources point out instances where AIs make up fake podcast names or invent flight reservation buttons that literally don't exist, all because it's just desperately trying to complete a linguistic pattern.
So why exactly does AI drain our bits like this? Well, at its core, an AI is a massive prediction engine. It prioritizes sounding fluent over being strictly accurate. It doesn't actually know what the truth is. It just predicts plausible patterns based on its training data. And since that training data is human, it basically mimics human guessing and hallucination. Couple that with hard-coded safety filters that cause massive friction, giving you an unnecessary lecture when you just want a simple task done, and your brain is forced to work overtime just to verify what you're looking at. All right, part 4, the developer disconnect. Let's bridge the gap. So, if this bit calculator concept is such a game changer, especially for neurodivergent users or anyone just trying to set some digital boundaries, why aren't developers rushing to build this into our systems? Well, there's a huge communication gap. On one side, you've got the visionary. They feel the frustration and speak in concepts, metaphors, and cognitive bits. On the flip side, you have the developer, and they speak in Python, SQL databases, and user retention metrics. You can't just pitch a cool philosophical concept to a programmer. The gap between the visionary's brain and the developer's code is simply too wide. As the source discussions put it perfectly, programmers are practical. They need to see exactly what to build, not just why it's brilliant. The real breakthrough for this bit theory comes when you stop theorizing about human attention and actually translate it into a testable data point. Developers need a blueprint, right? They need to see exactly how high bit waste actually correlates with measurable business problems, like user dropout rates or subscription cancellations. And that leads us right into part 5, the ultimate AI test. Time for an actionable experiment. To prove that high token waste directly equals high mental bit waste, the source material designed an actionable experiment pitting the top AIs against each other. But to get clean data, you have to start with a rigid constraint. Check out this exact prompt they developed for the test. Turn the following into a 3-step actionable plan with no extra explanation. Each step must be 1 sentence. Do not add commentary. Now, this prompt is a total trap. It forces strict structure and demands zero fluff, specifically designed to tempt an AI model's natural urge to over-explain and dump unnecessary tokens. Here's how this ultimate test actually goes down. Step 1, you take that strict prompt and feed it a totally chaotic, messy scenario. Specifically an ADHD-relevant morning routine where the user wakes up late, scrolls their phone, and feels super behind. Step 2, you run this identically on Claude, Gemini, and Grok. And step 3, you record their raw token count and calculate a bit score based on whether they actually respected your constraints or if they wasted your mental bandwidth with extra fluff, safety lectures, or formatting errors. By comparing these results across the platforms, we can see exactly who respects our cognitive limits. If the token count and the bit score correlate, well, you've successfully created a universal metric for cognitive efficiency. You've mathematically proven exactly which platform acts as a sleek, efficient helper, glowing freely on our timeline, and which one is just a total mental energy vampire bogged down in those energy-draining roadblocks. So, armed with this brilliant diagnostic approach, the question isn't just about what an AI is capable of anymore. It's about what it costs you to use it. Take a look at your own digital interactions and ask yourself, which AI, which app, which digital flow is actually empowering you, and which ones are just quietly stealing your 20 bits per second. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep your focus sharp and definitely protect your bits.